Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Hello folks, welcome to another program in the series Homo Politicus. The program seeks to talk about, tell you the Nigerian story, especially as it gets thrown up. I am citizen Jones Hussein. Now today we look at the fractured politics in Ondo State. Get that right, the fractured politics in Ondo State. You know, in Nigeria, nay, in Africa, what we call a political crisis is simply a crisis of brokenness. Broken institutions, broken families, broken brotherhood, and broken souls. Therefore, the crisis in Ondo State is like a cancer sore festering, pitching the governor, the personable barrister, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu, and his number two man, Lucky Aiyedatiwa. Now, President Tinubu, as father figure, invited the combatants to the seat of power, which is Abuja, on Friday, November 24, with a view to mediating the problem and settling the log jam. A planned sitting of the State House of Assembly has been put on hold, and sometimes it begs the question, is it true that when a crisis goes on for too long, both parties in the dispute are wrong? Shall we have a conversation, please? Now, my guests are already here. Let's meet and greet them. Tumi Olowe is a chartered accountant and a political commentator. Tumi, I greet you. Welcome.
Thank you, Citizen John.
We also have Mr. Cyril Abaku, broadcaster, communications consultant. Cyril, I greet you. Welcome.
Good morning to you.
Yeah. Gentlemen, the political logjam in Ondo State is nothing new to us, or is it?
No, it's not. No, not at all.
We're familiar, it's a familiar scenario?
It's been on for close to a year, thereabout.
And as a matter of fact, we've seen it in Katsina, we've seen it even in Abuja with former president, we've seen it play out, even in Taraba, if you recall. So it's not a new development. The only thing is, we've seen how it played out in Katsina, for example, how it played out in Taraba, how it played out in Abuja also. I think, and now of course in Ondo, I think it's more of a case of more politics than policy, more politics than values, more politics than institutions, more politics than politics at the cost of just everything else. And this is not to demonize politics. So breaking down would say more politicking than anything else. And even if to take it from the surface value, you may find that where politics is supreme, where politicians sort of have more, have bloated egos to massage, where politicking is on the front burner.
To the exclusion of the people.
Oh, I mean, it's a given. Then clearly, that's a doomed society. No matter the pretenses we may make to moving forward as civilized men who have reached a truce, as the case is in Ondo, deputy governor had their aides meet to the president and now would make us believe that they've averted the doomsday or that they've averted what could have become a major conflagration. Of course, Ondo State has a very strong history in that regard. We had the case of Homo and Ajash in the Second Republic, you know, the UPN and the NPN, where they almost tore that state apart. The one party was using local power, local popularity, that is the UPN, and the other party wanted to use federal might. You see, none of this is particularly new. Just that in every generation, new players come on board and new faces appear to represent new interests or old interests as clear.
Yeah.
But the question is, are we advancing? Are we civilizing? Are we making progress as a democracy and as a people? That's a big question that we will never be able to answer in 30 minutes.
To me, I hear this is all about the politics of succession. You know, it brings to my mind the sorry state of the number two man in our country, right from Abuja to my state.
Well, you see, yeah, it's politics. But you see, politics and democracy, and I think we need to start reiterating that for all of us to understand, right? Democracy is the government of the people.
For the people and by the people.
By the people. Now, in that...
But are you happy with the politics we play in Nigeria, which appears to be
the people are not involved, are not getting involved. We've left it all to the politicians. And I think it's a fundamental flaw in our psyche. We don't like taking responsibility.
Yes, you referred to the Second Republic, Ondo.
We don't like...
but at the time, the people had a say.
Yeah, they had a
say.
So
what has changed in 40 short years?
Well, between that time and this time, if you look at our society, we have a proliferation of churches. Between that time and now, then we didn't have the new generation churches that we have now. Now we have, I'm trying to point this out because people are looking for figures to take their burden for them, to take their responsibility for them. The pastor will pray for me. I'll become rich. I'm not sitting down to think of what I need to do.
I get the impression you are trying to make.
So,
there are end-time prophets who seem to tell you who wins election, which is years away.
So, government of the people, by the people, for the people. But the people are missing. And that's why our politicians get away with blue murder. Now, in accounting, there's what we call internal control system. Now, it's a system put in place by management of organization to ensure that the organization runs well. Its assets are safeguarded, profit is not messed with. There are no leakages and stuff like that. But you see, the best internal control system is as good as the people in control of running that system. So when we talk about systems in Nigeria, I just laugh. We have good systems in place, but our people would override the system. Once you override the system becomes useless. So the Constitution, what does the Constitution say about this, the scenario that we have in Ondo State? I'm sure the Constitution has a provision for it.
The Constitution has a job pattern spelled out for the number one man and the number two man. In America, the deputy governor, as we know it here, is called the lieutenant governor, has a job. And the deputy governor in America does not necessarily have to be of the same party with the governor. Not so here.
That is where we differ. But here, the deputies are like spare tires to the governors. And they might decide not to use that spare tire and look for it and that spare tire somewhere. We've seen it happen times without number. And unfortunately, it seems as if people that have been deputies have not been able to read the handwriting on the wall, that they need to really be careful and not show where their interests lie. Because once they show it, the governors will start cutting their wings.
As a matter of fact, a book comes to mind now. I know you are familiar with it. 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Law number 3 comes to mind. Do not show your finger too soon.
Too soon. Which is what happens, and we can see it playing out in states not too far away from Ondo State. So it now becomes a quagmire where the people are not involved, because the people are supposed to be protected by their representative. That is the house that they are sitting as suspended. So what it means is the people are okay with what their representatives are doing. Now, people outside of the state, we are concerned because it's a part of Nigeria, and the problem starts in any part of Nigeria. Somehow, some way, it would affect all of us. But the truth is, the people that have the local standing, are the citizens of Ondo State. So if they're keeping quiet, that means basically they are in support of what is happening over there. No, because the truth is...
Also you think?
Because,
or no?
Because, look, if the party in power knows that this charade that we are playing out will be punished by the people at the next election.
Really? Do you believe so?
Yeah, it can be. Now, for example, look at Osun State. You cannot take the people in Osun State for granted. It's a small margin between the two leading parties in Osun State. You cannot categorically say that I will win the next election in Osun State. So you need to a reasonable extent, be on your toes. And you can't just be complacent. So whether we want to believe it or not, the people are important. So but do the people themselves recognize their importance? You know, we have this pattern of framing, I'm not going to vote, I don't believe my vote will count. You can be negative and you can be positive.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you believe your vote will not count and you go along with that, the politicians don't care. Actually, they are praying that you do not become involved so that they can keep getting away with what they are doing.
All right, Cyril, Mr. President has waded into the Ondo lockdown, and it's been decided that the status quo ante should remain. Rotimi should remain governor at the expense of his health.
You know, citizen, the whole issue...
It's not laughing matter.
The whole matter is just one long comedy that perhaps has been... that has had too many scenes for comfort. Let me start from where Mr. Olowe even stopped. We always talk about the people waking up to the responsibility as citizens. The first discharge of responsibility by citizens in a democracy is to vote for those who should go and represent them. There is what we call anarchy, and there's what we call the government of the mob. I don't know if now a word like mobocracy is correct, but there's government of the mob. It was the mob, Mussolini mobilized in Italy, and when they marched on parliament, have you ever seen the mob govern themselves before? I don't think it's a good sight to behold. Sometimes when we think of people coming together to hold their leaders accountable, there's no definition to what that is. And you don't always wonder. This is the reason why democracy is indirect. You vote people who go to do that thing that all of us would have done together, because it's not easy to achieve it as a mass. In fact, I was asking somebody recently, I said, are the masses a mass? That's the question. Are the masses really a mass that has
and for that,
yes.
For that matter, is it a critical mass?
Exactly. So let me drop that argument there. Now let's face the matter as it is for Ondo State. Lord Aiyedatiwa presuming versus Arakorin wrote my Akeredolu. Citizen, it could be well argued that ever since Governor Akeredolu won the second term, there has been no governance in Ondo State. If anybody wants to play the devil's advocate, let us even say that ever since he traveled to Germany for treatment about a year ago, there has been no...
All has not been well.
There has been no governance in Ondo State. The question we are going to ask is, conflict, one, in a democracy, as in any other nation, conflict is not a bad thing. Conflict only shows that we are alive, we are present, we are different, we are diverse, and that we can find a resolution. It's always a bad thing.
Yeah.
If we disagree, we can agree later. But at least in the new agreement, we've understood each other, and we can now think of how to work together, because humanity is imperfect. Now, to face the matter, the question is who has committed a crime in Ondo State? What is the crime of the deputy governor that was about to be impeached?
Yeah.
What was his crime? That there's a governor who, look at this, they went to meet the president to have a meeting with the president, and the governor couldn't attend the meeting. Where is Governor Akeredolu? If he couldn't attend the meeting
physically,
and so the question is, he came back from Germany and he's been in Ibadan, not in Ondo State. Clearly, the governor is in no position to discharge his functions as governor of Ondo State anymore. What does the constitution say about that? And why is the president the one supervising this?
Cyril, his father figure.
You see,
The president as father figure
yeah.
has not been given. Father does not impose a license on anybody to distort, destroy values, and to be the one to bless the destruction and disruption
Cyril, it happened. It happened
The
before.
president, are you aware, Citizen Jones, that as part of the deal, the report is out there and nobody has refuted it, that the governor, the deputy governor has signed a letter of resignation undated.
You see, making the president the subject of the matter takes
No.
No. You see, because I've read commentaries, not him. I've read commentaries.
To me, the president has waded in.
Yes,
It happened before.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that, look, that is not the crux of the matter.
What
The
is?
crux of the matter is we're saying there's no governance in Ondo State. I don't live in Ondo State. None of us live in Ondo State. What are the people of Ondo State saying? That means they think they have governance. Because yes, we run a federation. You know, when people say it's unitary, I say no. Every state determine what happens in their state, as long as they are not out of the constitutional framework of the federation. We can chat from here till tomorrow. The state house of assembly in Ondo State have the power to activate whatever clause to ask for the governor to make himself available. I can't do that. No, the president can't do that.
To do what?
A doctrine of necessity?
The president can't do it. The state assembly would come out and tell you that, surely they've been sitting. Have they asked for their governor? Are they going to tell us that they don't know that their governor is not available? Even if they don't know before, now they know. Because he wasn't present at that meeting. So what you would expect the representative of people to do is to call for the governor to make himself available and take the necessary steps.
The speaker was there. Almost all the three senators were there.
So that's what I'm saying. The Ondo State's political logjam is as the people there want it to be. And no matter how much noise you make, it won't change, because the same thing happened with the governor that had an accident with when it was
Suntai Dambaba.
We made all the noise. But the state assembly played along because
the powers that be wanted the man in place.
And the citizens too. And you know, the funny thing is, it's not as if the citizens don't know what is going on. It's when you go to the grassroots that you will also understand that the people are, and that's why I'm saying that we like giving our responsibility to people. Because you go on a campaign trail, if you've been on one before, and the things you hear people say is, who are we going to vote for? Yeah, you can. It's a legit question, but what have you done yourself to a reasonable extent determine who you should vote for?
Okay, Cyril, just a minute. Napoleon Bonaparte, you remember him? Of all his quotations, one that comes to mind here is this. He says, quote, "Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake," end quote.
Yes.
It applies here.
It applies here, and the question is now, who is making a mistake?
Okay.
And who is not interrupting
Who?
I think that there is a reason people like us find ourselves in a television studio, for example, to help the public make sense of what is really going on in the environment.
Mold opinion of what's going on here.
You know, the way we used to talk about some warriors in the years past in our villages who did this and did that, but as an educated person, you can't speak in those terms. You can empirically understand who the person was, what the person did. You know, did he operate a building? Did he swim across an ocean or something? You can explain what it was. It's called informed opinion. It's called learning. So we cannot, as educated, as school people, just find ourselves here to mirror what's going on. We must be able to filter and help them to mold the opinions better. If we want to live, it was citing the case of Taraba and now Ondo states. So clearly, there are fundamental issues with our democracy. And our democracy is cut off from the people completely. if they had no clear say in electing who became governor, electing who became deputy governor, electing who became house of member, they had no say in how government was formed. Believe me that psychologically, there will be a feeling of detachment from what goes on in the corridors of power. In fact, this is the reason people are always cynical. Now them, should be now them. When they job, they call us. Now they get, that sort of thing. And in many places, when you even see crowds gathering, you ask yourself, who brought them together? Because apart from NSAS and a few other people-led movements, it is always a case of somebody mobilizing people to come out.
But even that, people will also be
on those state case. When you say there's a logjam, the question is, what is the Ondo state logjam? That there is a governor who no longer discharge his functions, and there's a deputy who is now who they are now trying to victimize for no provable reason. I find that extremely untenable. And our president whether they do the matter, and what did he do? Citizen Jones, I have a few questions. Is it true that the president is in copy of a letter, or the president supervised the production of a letter of deputy governor resigning without a date, so that any day he is found to have misbehaved, they will put the date and say he has resigned?
I cannot put a finger to that. I cannot.
Good, but the report is out there, and I've not seen
anyone
to refute it.
But the thing is also
number two.
Let me interrupt you, please. You see, and that's why I'm saying that.
No, let him make it.
Let
him make his point.
Number two, did political leaders in Ondo State go to meet the president? Yes. Did they go to meet him over the political imbroglio in the state? Yes. Did the meeting end with a resolution to follow the constitution in resolving the matter? The answer is a no. So what was the resolution? A political solution to a case that is clearly, evidently already a breach
of the constitution
and of democracy, and of core democratic values. Look, these same people let me not use derogatory language. We all remember how it played out when Aiyedatiwa was sick and was overseas.
Yeah.
We know how this. We know the voices and faces we saw and heard on television condemning that the president had been away from the country for how long? Then about 3 months or so, or more, and they said no, this was not right. The president and so on and so forth. Now they are in government. What are they now providing a solution to the same kind of situation? So when if not for anything,
except that Akeredolu is not dead here.
No, Aiyedatiwa was not dead. He was alive
at the time.
At the time, he was not dead. Aiyedatiwa passed on May 5.
Now Akeredolu is not dead.
He is not.
So, but he cannot.
No longer.
Resume.
And what the law even says is that I'm not a lawyer, but it's that when there is a case of provable incapacity, look, the fact that he could not even attend the meeting in Abuja physically, come on,
tells you something.
And that they had to hold a meeting over that same matter. How come he came back from China and he's been in Ibadan? Since August he's been in Ibadan. He cannot go to Ondo to discharge his duties as governor. Why? Morally speaking, it is untenable. Legally speaking, we are at sea. So let's call a spade.
To me, Cyril is not an Aluta man.
No. It's not even a matter of Aluta. Because you see, when you look at...
what I mean, he's not an activist. He may be speaking as one.
Well, really for me, I take anybody in Nigeria that says he's an activist with a pinch of salt. So it's... Because the activism that does not educate the people to get involved in their day-to-day life is, for me,
are we naive or politically naive?
We are not naive. We are sleeping on our bed. There is an opposition in Ondo State, yes or no? Yes.
I can address that one.
But the thing is, what are they saying?
I can
what pressures are they putting on the state assembly to do what is necessary to be done?
He wants to help out here.
The breakdown of politics is from the top to bottom. Let me give you 2 examples. In Ondo State, you are very correct. And because I have no dog in the fight, it's a shame that you have parties like the Labour Party that produced a government in Ondo in the past, and you have even the PDP. Now, the PDP youth at the time said the government must resume in Ondo.
Sorry, the Labour was Zenith Labour Party.
No. Labour Party produced a governor in Ondo State. It was when what's his name? Former Governor Olusegun Mimiko wanted to run for Senate. He now went and formed Zen Labour Party. Otherwise,
All right.
Great. Now, see where I'm going. And to me, I just want to hope that you have this story. The PDP youth wing in Ondo State. I wonder why it wasn't the PDP itself, but the youth wing of the PDP came out and said, Mr. Governor, you either resume or resign. Before they could even carry out a protest, the police and took trucks, big trucks, and went to the PDP secretariat and said, you dare not do this protest. That's one. Then number two, the place where I am even the most bothered is this. I don't know what Governor Akeredolu's senatorial zone is. Maybe it is Ondo North, Ondo South, or Ondo West.
One of them.
Go to that place and ask, do you want this governor who can no longer perform his functions out of Ondo State? The answer may be a resounding
no.
Widespread no. And the question is, whose responsibility is it to turn us from ruralites or from there's a way the Greek philosophers put it, there are two cadres of humanity before you become a citizen. The citizen doesn't talk about tribe, he talks about responsibility in building the state. But so since I don't know, I've forgotten the other 2 layers. Let me leave them. Okay, one is the idiot, I think. One is the idiot, then there's one in between before you come to the citizen. It means that without citizenship, we cannot practice democracy. And there are very, very few people. In fact, the number is getting fewer and fewer. That is those who are able to maintain citizenship over all other considerations. In light of that, whose responsibility is it to help people migrate from ordinary civilians and ordinary members of society to becoming active, serious-minded, purpose-driven, purposive citizens? Because without citizenship, you can't think. Democracy was not meant for people who are just working to survive. Democracy was meant for the citizens.
See, but you permit me to quote Napoleon again.
Yes.
He said, in politics, stupidity is not a handicap.
It's not, because it feeds the leverage or the levers with which the dictators and powers that be are able to govern what the other philosophers call idiots, govern the masses, govern the proletariat, the hoi polloi. Now, in such a situation, how shouldn't again, pardon me because I want to take it a bit personal. Governor Akeredolu is an SAN.
Is a senior lawyer.
Actually, I was going to say. I was going to say that. Look.
Sorry. Except that we'll take a breather here. We will take a break. Come back to it. Don't get it twisted. We are discussing Ondo State fractured politics. President Tinubu wades in. This is Enterprise TV. Please, we'll be back after the break. Stay. Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Okay, folks, welcome back. Let's take our discussion on Ondo State fractured politics. President Tinubu wades in to a logical conclusion. I still have Tumi Olowe and Cyril Abaku. To me, yes, in taking this home, therefore.
Yeah, so I was going to say that the governor is a lawyer. And I'm sure that there are lawyers too in the opposition parties.
And a senior advocate.
Yes, in the opposition parties in Ondo State. If the Ondo State House of Assembly would not voluntarily take the necessary action it should take as prescribed by the Constitution, are we saying that there are no lawyers that are versed in the Constitution that can go to court and get the court to mandate the State House of Assembly to activate the clauses of the Constitution that are necessary or germane to the lockdown that we have on ground? So, in essence, it looks as if it's a kind of an agreement to whatever they have planned in those states.
It cuts the picture of a freewheeling atmosphere, which is agreeable to everybody.
You see, the other problem is this. I was going to come to it. When we have this kind of situation, and we are bothered about it, but those who are they are just
We are using Panadol for their headache. They are just looking at us, and probably will be smiling at these people. They don't understand.
But what that now really means is that, citizen, and this is very serious and critical, it means the constitution is non-existent. It means, because I mean,
does this not remind you of George Orwell's Animal Farm?
Exactly, because as it is now, it just shows that laws are made for convenient times. That when push comes to shove, what matters is what the real thing that matters is what will matter, and that as far as they are concerned.
That's like I said, you know, in accounting, we have what we call internal control system.
Exactly.
If you decide to it's not as if the constitution is not existing. It's not as if there are no internal control system in organizations where the executive will dip their hands into the coffers of the organization and take the money away. It's because people have decided to overlook it. The constitution will not activate itself.
No, but
it has to be activated by the people that are there.
Yeah, but because the State House of Assembly is the engine room here.
Yes.
It's supposed to show us the way forward as we sit
Let me
here.
even bring this in. In the Aiyedatiwa debacle, in 2010, when somebody got fed up with the whole scenario.
Remember Minister of Information, the late Dora Akunyili?
No, it wasn't even her. When the constitution does not even provide for that, for what was innocuously called doctrine of necessity. It wasn't there. It wasn't there, but it had been invented in the name of law. In the name of law. Yes, it was invented in the name of law. So you see, because up until that time, they were managing the situation and believing that we can sidestep the law and just hope that things will get better. But now they began to lie to themselves. Somebody even came on to the Senate that morning and said that he saw that he had jogged with the president. When he started doing how they, and he was dramatizing how they
that he waved at him.
David Mark said, enough of this. So you know what? So he consulted with the former chief judge or then I think a former chief justice and said, what? The man said you can invent this doctrine, call it so and so name, and you know after you pass the resolution, you can go back and do what you need to do to the law books. It means that there is no way we can resolve this crisis without making resort to laws.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
the opposition can't take that step and go to court.
You see, the Nigerian political spectrum is one big family of happy men and women. When you are in office, you make the others happy.
So sometimes too, that means we're just
silence is not for
talking.
nothing. Silence is not for nothing. Silence has a price.
You know that in Edo State when for 4 years.
So stupidity is not a handicap here.
No.
14 members of the Edo State House of Assembly were not inaugurated by the governor. And
till day after tomorrow.
Yes.
But you see, the thing is, we will just mount.
And nothing happened.
So you see, when those governors get, and when people say, the governors are so powerful. I mean, so, and for me, it was a disappointment for me that these same members of the State of Assembly, in most states, voted against their own autonomy. Because the reality of it is, the way it is now, it pays those members of State of Assembly. Somebody has taken the responsibility for them. So, I mean, they prefer the way it's going. Local government chairman too. Same thing for them. They don't want independence. Because as long as they're not independent,
that's it.
They don't have any responsibility. If you ask them, they will say, the governor has taken the money. At State of Assembly, the governor has taken the money. State judiciary, the governor has taken the money. And really, we all just sit down.
To me, it reminds me briefly of a Second Republic scenario where the first impeachment of a governor in this country happened. The old Kaduna State, the assembly impeached Balarabe Musa because he refused to give them an advancement of 50,000 naira of all figures.
There was a lot of money there.
Oh yeah, it was. And the governor, the only member of the PRP, then the house was predominantly NPN. But in Ondo State, the House is predominantly APC.
Yes.
So where's the problem?
No, so he was talking of internal control mechanisms.
So
Political, look at, for example, in America, the House of Reps can't even elect a speaker, despite the fact that Republicans have a majority.
yeah.
They've been, so is it, why? Because each man votes based on his own conviction. But that sounds very, very long, and I mean, for Nigerians, it's a pity that that we come to this part, but it's a good thing that, in spite of the huge darkness that besides our land, we're able to speak the truth. Somebody may listen to it and wrong with it. The fact is, what is happening in Ondo State is wrong.
Totally.
It's wrong. And when those who should know better, those who are are not the ones who are blessing.
Yeah. All right, folks, we must apply the brakes here, not before reminding you that the 40th president of the United States of America, the late Ronald Reagan, said, politics is much more like the oldest profession on the planet. The rules are never obeyed. I guess you understand what I'm saying. So the debate, let it continue in your homes, but we have tried as best we could to address the Ondo State fractured politics with the president wading in. Is it Uhuru yet? The coming days will tell. I'm out of here, but let me thank Cyril Abaku for coming.
My pleasure, Citizen Jones.
To me, Olowe, many thanks for your time.
My pleasure, sir.
And on behalf of the Backroom Boys, this is Citizen Jones saying thank you. Bye-bye now. Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a traditional